when we think we are the ones that make ourselves right with God, it's kind of like trying to swim from here to Hawaii. There's no way you're going to go down to Galveston, put on a little scuba diving suit, and think you're going to swim from Galveston to Hawaii. How many people think they make that trip? Not going to make it. But what if there was a huge ship there? What if there was a cruise ship there? And part of the trip going to Hawaii was that your ticket was already paid for. And all you had to do was show up at the appointed time, show them your ticket, get on the boat. Now, how many people think they can make it to Hawaii now? That's how faith works. Faith is a vehicle. Faith is a boat that allows something from this dimension to come to this dimension. Faith is that which allows that supernatural, spiritual power from God to flow down into your life, right where you sit. And faith is the only way. And so the writer in this particular lesson, he's arguing that this is not something new. That Jesus, when Jesus came, this is not where this started. This is not where this faith stuff started. That this faith stuff started all the way in the beginning. And so he goes through and he talks about Abraham, and he goes down the list, and now we're looking at the life of Isaac. So now going further, we see that Isaac blessed his son. Now what's a blessing? You know, sometimes when people sneeze, what do we say? Bless you. But what are you really saying? What are we saying? You know, so we say this word, bless. We say this word, God bless you. But what are we really saying? What really is a blessing? And a blessing, in one language, it is that which you cannot do for yourself. It is that which humanity cannot do for itself. It is that with your effort and your work, it cannot do for you. It is something that only God can do for you. Defined another way, a blessing is God's favor and God's protection over your life. How many people need a blessing today? How many people desire a blessing today? Because you and I both have the opportunity to tap and receive these awesome blessings of God. Going back and getting a little bit more history on this particular lesson, there are 8 covenants in the Bible. 8 different covenants in the Bible. And we can start with the covenant of Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, if you will, that particular covenant. But today we're looking at the covenant that God made with Abraham. Now, God did not simply make this covenant with Abraham. Stay with me now. He didn't simply make this covenant with Abraham. He made the covenant, the promise, with Abraham and his offspring. With Abraham and his children's children. So powerful thing going on here. So what is the covenant that God makes? Now, in this particular time, when you go early into the scripture of Genesis, you'll find that God told him to bring some animals. We're going to sacrifice some animals, and we're going to have a covenant party. Now, back here in this day and time, what they would do, they would have covenant gatherings. They would have covenant ceremonies. So you may have an individual who, if you will, I'm a farmer. And so I have a particular farm. This is what I do, I farm. Then you may have someone else using the illustration. I have a store. And in my store, I sell different goods and different services. And so the farmer and the store merchant would make a covenant. They would make a binding agreement. Now, this person who owns the store has a need. That person needs produce. The person who has the farm has a need. They need a customer base to push this produce through. And so when covenants were made in this day and time, it was kind of like some of these company mergers that we have today. Where, you know, this company has this need, this company has this need, this company has this strength, this company has this strength, and they match them together, and so these opposites begin to attract, because where you're weak, I'm strong, where I'm strong, you're weak, but we balance each other out. And so anyway, God makes this covenant with Abraham. Now the key thing about this covenant, this treaty that God makes with Abraham is the dual, the onus, the greatness is on God. All of the supernatural things that Abraham cannot do for himself, God says, I'll do it. Oh, you cannot enter and possess this great land that I'm going to give you. So guess what I'll do? I'll take care of that part for you. Because you can't do that part. So God makes it stop. He says, this is my part. The second thing he says with this covenant of Abraham, he says, not only will I give you a land that you can't give, he says, I'll give you a seed. I'll give you a seed that you can't give yourself. So Abraham was 100 years of age. His wife was 90 years of age. How in the world are they going to have a baby? And she never had one before. So God says, I'm going to do what you can't do. So I'll give you a seed. And then the third thing God says, he says, not only will I give you land that you can't give yourself, not only will I give you a seed that you can't give yourself, he says, then I'll bless you. So we come right back to this word blessing. What is he talking about blessing? God says, I will give you so much favor. He says, whoever bless you, I bless them. That's how good I'm going to be in your life. That I'm going to let mercy, I'm going to let grace, I'm going to let goodness flow in your life. So somebody says, now what is grace? What is mercy? What is justice? Justice is getting what you deserve. What is grace? Giving what you do not deserve. What is mercy? Giving not what you deserve. So when God brings you mercy, you deserve punishment, but he said, I'm not going to give it to you. When God gives you grace, you don't deserve anything, but he says, I'm going to give you something good anyway. When he gives you justice, he says, you did it, you deserve it, so I'm giving you the reward. But when he speaks to Abraham, he gives him a land that he cannot possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now, I don't want you to get lost on me. I want you to see that land as your place of purpose. I want you to see that land as destiny on display in your life. I want you to see that land as purpose being fulfilled in the earth. I want you to see that land where all of your dreams and all of your desires are able to come to pass. It was a beautiful land. And then the seed, this is a miracle. This is an absolute miracle. Now, we can think of ways of how he can get this land. Maybe he can form an alliance, get some weapons, and maybe they can take over and conquer. But what about the seed? What about having this great offspring come through? Then the third thing God says is, well, not only that, what about the blessing? So we come back to this term before I talk about the blessing that he gave Jacob, and before I talk about the blessing that he gave Esau. What is a blessing? And a blessing is God's favor, God's protection, God's security over your life. When you get time, go to a powerful scripture. It is Psalms 91. And I don't know what you may be going through. When you get home, you read Psalm 91. Throughout this week, you learn Psalm 91. Because when you're going through, it teaches you how blessed you are. See, sometimes we don't know what we have. We don't know the goodness, the glory that we have. It's kind of like a story of the lady who